Hello and welcome to Fire Walk with Us. I'm Paul.
I'm Dave.
And Justin.
This week we're talking about Twin Peaks: The Return Part 14. In this episode, we start off in Buckhorn, South Dakota, as FBI Director Gordon Cole calls the Twin Peaks Sheriff Department, and Lucy answers. Recognizing Cole's voice, she connects him to Frank. After Cole expects Harry, Frank explains his brother's whereabouts and tells him about the pages from Laura Palmer's diary that were found that suggested the existence of two Coopers. Albert tells Preston about the Blue Rose case, about the first Blue Rose case, with which Cole and Jeffries were involved and was the namesake of the task force. Cole enters, followed by Diane. Cole asks her if Cooper mentioned Major Garland Briggs the last time they saw each other, which she confirms. Albert explains the fate of Briggs, noting Dougie Jones' ring found in Briggs' stomach. Diane recognizes the name Janie E. as belonging to her half-sister, who is married to a Douglas Jones in Las Vegas. Tammy calls the FBI in Las Vegas, and Cole tells them that the Joneses are wanted in relation to a double homicide. Diane leaves, and Cole informs Albert and Tammy about the Twin Peaks Sheriff's Department find. He then tells them about a dream he had about Monica Bellucci. I don't know how you pronounce that last name. Yeah. Who in the dream he met at a cafe where Cooper was, but Cole did not want to see his face. They had coffee, and Monica said, "We are like the dreamer who dreams and lives inside the dream," which Cole understood. This was followed by, "But who is the dreamer?" He says that Monica indicated to him to look back, and he saw himself on February 16th, 1989, the date of Jeffries' brief reappearance, and particularly noting Jeffries asking who he thought Cooper was. Bobby, Hawk, Andy, and Frank arrest Chad for his criminal activities. Finally. Bobby then leads the way to Jackrabbit's palace, and they follow the instructions left by the Major. They move farther through the woods and see a nude, eyeless woman, who we saw in part 2 or 3, quite early on.
Around the time that Cooper was still kind of messing around within that duality of stuff.
Yes. A portal forms above them, and Andy is transported inside after holding the woman's hand. He appears before a tall man who calls himself the Fireman. Andy is shown a white figure regurgitating Bob Woodsman, a high school girl screaming, Laura, Angels, the eyeless woman, two Coopers, a telephone, himself and Lucy, and a utility pole. Before being transported back out, he appears back at Jackrabbit's palace where the other lawmen wait. He carries the woman and tells them that she is important and must be kept under their watch. Andy and Lucy help the woman settle into a jail cell as Chad yells out insults. Andy and Lucy leave and the woman makes noises repeated by a drunk in another cell, much to Chad's annoyance. James and Freddie take a break at their job, the latter displaying the strength in his gloved hand. James inquires about the glove, which Freddie says is part of him, and he cannot remove it without bleeding. He explains that after an epiphany, he was transported into a void and encountered the Fireman, who told him that the glove would give his right hand an immense power. He was told to go to Twin Peaks to find his destiny. James then enters the Great Northern Hotel room's furnace room and hears a noise. Sarah goes to the bar where she is propositioned by a trucker. When she refuses his advances, she pulls her face off, and he dies. At the Roadhouse, Sophie and Megan discuss Billy, who was seen in the yard of Sophie and her mother, Tina, and who entered the kitchen bleeding from his nose and mouth before suddenly leaving, and then we end on a musical performance.
Yes.
As usual.
Yes.
Alrighty, what did you all think of this episode?
Stuff happened. My dear goodness, stuff happened in this episode.
Yeah. True. They're finally getting somewhere with Dougie Jones, sort of.
Maybe.
Maybe. They have some kind of lead.
Anywho's particular thing. Telpa.
What?
Telpa is the description of the particular person from the story from the investigation discussion, where there were two people, both the same. One of them was a blue rose and disappeared, and the other person was there and just like, oh my god, what's happening? The thing that disappeared is supposedly called the Telpa.
Okay, interesting.
Supposedly, I just remember hearing that word. It's like, write down super important.
What do you think about Freddy's story, where he talks about getting the glove?
It's like, oh my gosh, you have supposed relevance to the story. Oh,
Well-
you're a red herring.
Well, it's funny that they bring him up after, like, we know who the fireman is.
Yep.
So when he mentions that, you can basically relate that to that sort of.
I also just love, like, the details of his story where he had to, like, go down to this...
And basically say that, yes, I'm buying this one glove.
I love that.
I am going to walk out of the store and purchase this one glove.
I also love how it's like, it's not like, it's just like a dishwashing glove.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's hilarious. Every time he pulls his hand up, it made me giggle.
I sort of looked at it as like, man, how gnarly is your hand underneath that glove?
Maybe there isn't a hand.
Well, we know he can't take it off.
Not true. Well, the other particular thing is with how it looked on his hand, it looked a bit loose. So it was just like a case of, oh, do you just like open it a little bit, spray some water in there, and just let it run out? It's all good.
Like Justin said, there might not be a hand under there.
Yeah, who knows?
Who knows? We see a flashback. Okay, brain.
Flashback?
Flashback to 1989 with Philip Jeffries asking who people thought Cooper was.
Also, additionally, oh my god, he was Cooper!
Well, yeah, in old footage.
Yeah. So that doesn't really matter.
Hey, it has been several episodes, most of this bloody season, and we haven't had any sort of speaking lines from Cooper. So
It's true.
It's decently nice to see Cooper again.
What do you think of the eyeless woman?
She's back, didn't look like she had shoes. So, sadly, she probably forgot the shoes as well.
I love that, like, when they go to, like, Jack Rabbit's palace and everything. Like, I just love that moment with Bobby.
Yes.
It's just really cool.
That was alright. When everything happened with Andy, it's like, oh, please don't do something terrible with Andy, please, poof, and he's gone. It's just like, oh, dear God. Don't do something terrible to Andy! And then everything sort of run like that. And once he comes back, I'm not sure if any one of us said it from season 1, but damn it, Andy the boss. He is such a boss.
Andy has consistently become better and better throughout the run.
So true.
Yeah. So, do you have any other notes about this episode? Either of you?
In my case, despite the fact that we have a name for him, it's still the fact that he's the giant in my case of seeing him again.
Yeah.
Though I understand he's also the fireman.
Yes.
Yeah, it just looked like the giant to me, even though he claimed to be the fireman.
Yes.
So, additionally, the other guy in the cell, he's a little weird.
Yeah. Oh, the drunk, yeah.
Well,
He
I
only
think
repeats
it's
everything.
Billy, isn't it?
Like,
Is it?
From what I assumed from seeing him and then the description that came afterwards,
Oh, maybe. I didn't really pay attention.
who?
it definitely seems to make sense, since he was leaking out a whole bunch of blood and whatnot. They didn't mention anything about the nice giant scar thing on his cheek, but it sort of seemed to fit the description. But I think it's kind of a case of that's not really Bobby. It was supposedly maybe one of the woodsmen that's supposedly doing something within a person's skin.
It could be. Anything else?
Oh, additionally, yeah, the arm's back.
Oh, yeah, it makes a brief appearance in this.
Not just a brief appearance. I'm pretty sure that's what's doing all that business.
Doing all what?
Taking off the face.
Oh, God.
Hello!
Okay, that's an interesting.
So, yeah, I wasn't gonna see that character being a part of the show for very long. The guy with the big truck U shirt.
No, but I want that shirt.
It's a free country. Trying to make a pun here.
I love when he gets his throat ripped out.
It was just kind of a case of, I really hope you're not that relevant of a character, and then the face comes off, it's like, oh, you gotta die.
Oh yeah, he's not relevant at all anymore. No.
No.
Should just hit the fan.
Yeah. I love her her delayed reaction to screaming too.
That's like,
Oh right, I should sell this. Yeah, it's pretty great.
Oh my goodness.
Anything else from either of you?
No, I think that covers pretty much everything.
Yeah, I'm glad they're arresting Chad.
Oh,
Finally.
So fucking glad.
After like 10 episodes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it took a while for them to finally arrest Chad.
Oh, what took him so long?
Alrighty, so I think that's gonna be it for this week, other than your favorite character or moment.
Definitely Andy. Just all the shit that he sort of went through, just how much of a boss he was.
Okay. Justin?
I don't really have a favorite moment of sorts. Well, maybe the prison of nuts.
The what?
The prison of nuts, as I would call it. Where everyone is just, making random gibberish.
Oh. Okay.
A little unorthodox, but still the composition of the music was decent enough.
For me, it's Bobby. There's just something about that scene with Bobby we were talking about going in the woods with his dad. I just really like that scene. So I think that's going to be it for this week. I'm Paul.
I'm Dave.
And Justin.